Namaste, welcome to Buddha's teaching. Today's talk is about Rupa or form. Rupa is the Pali word, okay, but we usually refer to it as form or body in the Western uh, side of the world. So in Buddha's teaching, the Buddha taught about Nama Rupa, as I have mentioned in previous episodes, and form is the Rupa. So even though in Buddha's teaching, the Buddha concentrate mostly in the Dhamma, okay, but the Buddha also taught about form, about Rupa, okay, so that we understand what Rupa is, because for most of us, after all, our ignorance is based on our self-identification, right? Our self-identification is what is we identify ourselves with our form, with our body, and with our mind, right? So that's why we have to study in Buddha's teaching about body and about the mind. Okay, the mind is the Dhamma or the Nama side of the teaching. So Rupa, uh, as I have said, the self-identification that we usually point to ourselves when somebody look at us, they see our form, right? When we look at people, we see their form. Okay, so we, of course, when we want to communicate and we call each other, right? We call them because we recognize that form and we put a label on that form, like this form right here, this body right here. My parents put a label on so they can call this form here. Okay, when they see the same structure, the same form, they call soti, right? And as we know, if we are really looking for soti here, all we see is the whole form, but there isn't a soti anywhere in particular, right? Uh, as we have gone through in previous episode, when we point here, is this soti? No, that's called ear, right? Is this soti? No, that's called nose, and so on and so forth. And we have 32 kinds of organs that we break it down, from hair all the way to from top to the bottom. All right, you have hair, you have nail, you have bone, you have brain, you have tissue, skin, and oil, and all the different internal organs that put together that comes into this form right here, and we slap a label, right? And we slap a label, which is a name, and we refer to this form as soti. But the real soti doesn't exist anywhere, right? It's just a presumption. It's a label. It's the same thing as anything else around you. The car, right? The house, motorcycle, or books, or whatnot. If you truly look at it, all right, it's all labels. All right, there isn't a book that exists. It's a combination of paper of different small particles from trees and leaves and things like that with ink, right? So with that kind of structure, we call it a book, right? The same as a car with something with engine and four wheel with steering wheel, we call it a car. But a car itself doesn't really exist. It's just a label that we slap on it on a particular structure, okay, that has that feature. So we call that a car. So that is one of the uh, big illusion that we are mostly, we don't really think about it, okay, much until it is pointed out to us, right? As the Buddha pointed out, say, look again, is there is soti that exists anywhere, and when you sit down and analyze it, you can see why the Buddha taught what the Buddha taught, right? Say, okay, so what is this then? Okay, so this is form or rupa that the Buddha taught. So the Buddha break it down for us. Okay, so what is form? What is that body that we usually mistakenly identify ourselves with? So he broke it down into form. So form is one of the aggregate in the five aggregate that the Buddha taught, right? Form is rupa, okay, and the other four aggregates belongs to nama, right? So nama has four aggregates, and rupa represent one aggregate. So those are the five aggregates that the Buddha taught, and in the Pali language or Pali words, it's called the skandhas, okay, the five skandhas. So what is rupa? What is form? Um, there are 28 um, there are 28 elements or 28 phenomena that the Buddha breaks down. There's 28 kinds um, that in general that the Buddha broke it down. Okay, the form has 28 kinds, and in those 28 kinds, the Buddha grouped them together into 11 subgroups. Okay, so of course we're not going to go into details and all of those, okay, and I would encourage you all, if you are interested, pick up a book, online book, like the books that I shown here. There's a couple of books here that are very very good, okay, by Bhikkhu Bodhi, and by, I'm not sure the other one, but it's also reviewed by Bhikkhu Bodhi. It's the book about the Abhidhamma. Okay, these two books right here I would recommend. Okay, so in the 28 forms that the Buddha broke down, there are 11 subgroups. So the first subgroup has to do with the four great elements. Okay, the first subgroup. The four great elements are earth. We have earth element. Okay, we have water, we have fire, and we have air or wind. Okay, so those are the four great elements. Okay, so why are they called the four great elements? These four great elements are everywhere. Okay, when there's form, there's these four great elements. So in the 28 form, different kinds of form that the Buddha teach, in all those 28, these four are always present. Okay, the rest depending on different situation, but these four here are the base. Okay, there's always it's always there. Form here is comprised of earth, water, fire, and wind. Okay, but these four elements here, even though I say earth, water, fire, and wind, but they're not actually earth itself. Okay, the real true word for it, it's like for example, for earth, it's not earth, the soil or the that we walk on itself. It's called something that is solid, okay, so that has mass, something that has mass. So it's not necessarily earth itself. So we can say that earth as, we can replace the word earth as materials that has mass. Okay, so that's earth. The same goes with water. Actually it's not just water, so I'm breaking it down a little bit here. It's moisture. It's something that is liquid, because it's not the liquid water that we drink. Okay, water in this sense is something that is liquid, that is moist, and that element acts as a lubricant. Okay, in to make form, in order for form to be able to move, there has to be lubricant, which is moisture or water, that we use a simple word. Okay, now fire. So fire is actually, it's not just fire. Actually, the true meaning, the true word that we should use is temperature. Okay, so it's not just the burning fire, it's temperature. In all of the forms in the entire cosmos, there's temperature. All the mass, all the material has temperature. It doesn't matter how cold or how hot it is, but there is temperature. Okay, so that's why it's called the universal element of form, because it's always there. The last one is wind, right? Wind in this sense is not the wind that blowing, or the air that is blowing. It's actually a, a form of energy, okay, that enable things to move. Okay, so it's like a force. Okay, but it's also it's a form. All right, so it's a form of energy. All right, so these are the four base elements of form, of rupa. Okay, you cannot have form without these four. Okay, and for everything have to have these four base elements in order to have forms. Okay, in order to have rupa. And so what is the, and the Buddhas put a definition on form. What is form? The definition of form in Buddha's teaching is anything that is disintegrate. Okay, anything that disintegrate is called form, right? So for example, flowers or anything material, everything that we see around us, including our body, it grows, it ages, and then it breaks down. But all of that is in the process of disintegrating. Okay, even though we are growing from baby to teenager to adulthood and stuff, but that process is called the process of disintegrating. All right, everything is in the process of disintegrating. So the word form, the definition of form is everything that can be disintegrate. That is the meaning of form. This flower right here, it disintegrate. All right, the only thing that is different between the flowers and this body or the wall behind me or the chair I sit on, the speed of disintegration is different, right? It's different between different materials, but everything disintegrate, including the mountain, the rock, all right, the planet, the sun, the star, everything disintegrate. It just has different time period. Okay, so that's the definition of form, right? So that is one of the things that the Buddha pointed out, that the definition of form is things that disintegrate. This body right here, this form right here, disintegrate. Okay, so the bodies that the Buddha said, now when we cling on to something that disintegrate as ourselves, okay, when you cling on to your own body, say this is me right here, but that very me that you identify with, that very body is disintegrating as we speak. All right, whether we know it or not, it's in the process of disintegrating. Now when we cling on to something that disintegrate, what happens? We have suffering. Okay, we have we have something not right here, because we look at something that is not permanent, right? Another word is impermanent. So that's also the law that we have talked about. Something that is disintegrate, something that is not permanent, and when we cling on to it, and the thing keeps disintegrate, we have suffering. So that's one of the things that the Buddha pointed out to. Okay, pointed to us that is one source of the suffering right there, because of a misunderstanding of the ultimate reality of form, right? We mistakenly think that this is who we are, right? The self-identification, right? Okay, let's continue on. Okay, by the way, so the 28th form that the Buddha has, it's also, well, it breaks down into, first of all, it has two major groups. Okay, I told you that there are 11 subgroups, right? Those 11 subgroups are inside two major groups, by the way. All right, I forgot to mention those two major groups. So the one group is called the concretely produced matter. Okay, so there are 18 of them. Okay, there's 18 form. Okay, that group is called concretely produced matter. Okay, and the other group that has 10 form is called the non-concrete matter. All right, so I'm reading this from the book that I just showed you, from the blue one there, the Abhidhamma book from by Bhikkhu Bodhi. Okay, so I'm reading that for you. That book is very good, and I already checked it. Okay, I checked the translation, and the way that the Bhikkhu Bodhi has it outlined on the chart is pretty accurate. Okay, to the way I studied in the Pali or in the Khmer language. Okay, in my own language, and I compare to the translation here, and it's pretty much, on par. So it's very good. Um, so if you were to open that book, okay, it's on page 236. All right, it's the blue Abhidhamma book by Bhikkhu Bodhi. There are two major groups. One is the concretely produced matter, and the second group is the non-concrete matter. So the second group has 10, the first one has 18. The two together is 28. There are 28, okay, forms. So in the first group, in the first major group of the 18, we have 4 so far, right? So far we have the great essential, which are always in all the forms. Okay, and the second subgroup in the first major group is called the sensitive phenomena, and they have five of them. It's called, so they are the eye sensitivity, ear sensitivity, nose sensitivity, tongue sensitivity, and body sensitivity. So in other words, it's not the body or the eyes or the ear or the nose itself, it's the sensitivity of it. So it's the, when you see this, there's a sense, there's a consciousness that is allow us to see. So it's not the physical eye itself. Okay, there's a form that is, right close to the pupil, underneath it a little bit. Okay, the same goes to the ear sensitivity. It's not the eardrum, but it's it's the very wave next to it that enable us to hear. So that's called the sensitivity form of the ear. Okay, so there are 5 of those that has to do with the 5 doors that we have. Okay, all right, the next group number 3 is objective phenomena. Okay, so there's visible form. There's also there are 4 of them. Okay, the visible form, sound, smell, and taste. Okay, and those are the so like the attributes of the form, okay, because all of the matters, it has form, all right, and it also has sound, believe it or not, okay, and it has smell. Whatever it is that has mass, it has smell. It's just that our nose here cannot pick up all the smell, but everything has smell. It has taste also, okay. I mean, even let's say steel, when you lick it, you can't, tell what how it tastes, but it has its own taste. It's just that we not aware of it, right? So that's a form also. Okay, number 4 subgroup is called sexual phenomena. So in the sexual phenomena, there's femininity and masculinity. So there's male and female, right? So we can only have one. We cannot be both. I mean, but so either male or female. So in that group, even though there are two forms, male and female, but we can only have one, right? Number 5, group number 5 is called the heart phenomenon, which is the heart base. So again, it's not the physical heart itself. Okay, that form is very close to the heart. All right, it's very close to the heart. Number 6, it's called life phenomena. Okay, I'm reading from the chart again. Okay, in the Abhidhamma book. Life faculty. So it's the like it's a life energy that enable the form. That is a form of life energy that is running. Okay, so that's a form. Right. Number 7, nutritional phenomena group. There's nutriment, right? Of course, we have nutriment that is within us, right? Different nutrient that is that we get from food. So that is feeding and keeping the body alive, right? So that's the form. So that's the first major group, the concrete group. Okay, that's a concrete group. Now the non-concrete group, as the word say, is non-concrete. Okay, what are they? Non-concrete is space element. Okay, so that's one. It has to do with the space inside form inside us, right? So the space element. There's body intimation. Okay, it's the body, but it's not the actual body itself, but it's there's a hint of, there's like an energy feel, right, that you feel like this, body. Vocal intimation. Okay, that's the next one form. And then you have lightness form, malleability form, wilderness form. Okay, and the last subgroup, the characteristic of matters is the production, okay, continuity, decay, and impermanence. Again, so that those 4 are in the last group of the non-concrete matter. So in other words, the last group sort of describe about the disintegration, about the process of the of form of the body. So I've just gone over it quickly, okay, with you, so that at least you have some kind of ideas what form is all about, what the Buddha taught as far as form goes. Okay, but if you interested, if you want to learn more, I recommend that you pick up one of those books. Okay, and it will describe in details each and every single form. Okay, that you can explore further for your own knowledge. Um, just a little heads up that the Abhidhamma book is like a technical book. Okay, it's not a story book like the sutra or anything. This is literally a like a miracle book or a programming book, right? It's technical. Okay, it's very technical. So it can be it can be a little bit challenging to some, but it can be very interesting. All right, if you're interested, this is what I call high science in a way, because this is literally the breakdown of the Abhidhamma book is literally the breakdown of a physical body to the way the Buddha dissected and looked into it in details. Okay, the matrix of nama rupa, of body and mind, how they come together, how they work together or interact together. Okay, this is an amazing matrix that the Buddha lay out, that no one else, that no one can, in the world can do this. Okay, except for a fully enlightened person or being. Okay, that can see the detail, minute, very detailed uh, matrix of who we are. Okay, so with that, once after you analyze this, okay, one of the things that a lot of people can benefit from by studying the rupa, okay, the form, is that after you understand the breakdown of form, you feel the detachment of the identity, okay, of the self-identification with the form. And many people, many meditators use this as a meditation object. Okay, when a person can meditate on form, okay, the breakdown of form, when you look at form, then the meditator will look at all there is hair, all there is brain, all there is eyes on ears, and then you just scan through the whole body like that. Okay, all the way from bottom to top, and from top to bottom, from bottom to top, and go through each every single organ. Okay, and after doing that for a while, the meditator become detached from the identification of form, because after truly understanding, after the self-analyzation, the meditator come to understand the true nature of form. Okay, so that's one of the benefit in studying the form. um, a little on a side note, the abhidhamma, so there's the word abhi and the word dhamma, right? Abhi is abhi, right? Abhidhamma means the deeper dhamma. Okay, so that's why in the abhidhamma, which is the last canon of the three canon in Buddha's teaching, right? The Buddha's teaching has the vinaya, the rules for the monks, right? And then the sutra, as you all know, the story and different stories of the Buddha uh, talk. And then the Abhidhamma is the last canon or the last volume that teach you deep into the teaching, the technical breakdown. Okay, this is very technical, and it goes very, very deep. Okay, so just a side note for you, so you understand what Abhidhamma is. Okay, so that's what I have for you all today. Hopefully, this is something of informative to you all. Until next time, I like to pay respect to the triple gems. I like to pay respect to the Buddha. I like to pay respect to the Dharma, and I like to pay respect to the Sangha. Namaste.